Welcome back, people. It is episode 35 of season 4 of the Taxi Squad podcast. This week, we got a fair amount to get into. Follow up on last week's strange and unusual topic. Some very unfortunate things in the soccer community this week. We also have a full rundown of week 0 and week 1 of college football ahead of you. Buckle up. Gonna be a riot. Why Shohei Ohtani may be the greatest thing next to sliced bread and saving the MLB, as is Aaron Judge. And also a full-blown Hard Knocks review, NFL talk. It's the Taxi Squad podcast.
Come on, everybody, celebrate. The Taxi Squad is here today. So lose the blues, kick back and relax for now. They talk about sports and stupid stuff. They're probably wrong and it might get rough. So welcome back. It's the Taxi Squad. Yeah.
Vince, how are you doing?
Listen, man, it's been hot. It's been hot out here.
Oh, yeah?
It's not even that sunny. It's been 96 degrees-ish in Chicago this week, dude.
Really?
What the fudge is going on
Really?
is my thought. Yeah, this is actually now the hottest I think I've ever experienced Chicago being. I don't remember
Really?
it ever being any hotter than this because it was just like 100% humidity. Hot as hell. You walk outside and you're just like, ugh, it's just muggy. It feels like I went to Orlando a couple years ago on a bachelor party, and it was
Okay.
like 100 degrees and humid. That's what it felt like.
Uh-huh.
It was bad news bears. Bad news
So it
bears.
was 96 degrees. It
Uh-huh.
wasn't Nick Lachey?
No, it was two degrees away from the Lachey brothers, actually. Yeah.
And if
Don't
you don't
forget-
get that reference, 98 degrees, people.
Drew
They
was
were
in
big.
that bitch too, don't you forget.
Who's Drew?
Drew Lachey, dude. Brother
Oh,
of
yeah,
Nick.
he was Small King. Small
Uh-huh.
King.
Mhm.
Also a good-looking cat as well, like his brother, but very short.
Yes.
Very short.
100%.
Simpler times. Well, hey, man, I am no stranger to the heat because I live in the desert. It's a
Yeah.
different heat, though, but I got news. Your balls still sweat.
Oh, yeah.
So you got a powder down there, man, Vince. You know,
Mhm.
this is your friendly reminder. If you weigh above 200 pounds, you should probably put some sort of grazing powder
or
on your
ball
jewels
deodorant or something
and in
like
your
that.
ghoul.
Yeah.
Like you gotta keep them cool,
Little ball
and you gotta keep
antiperspirant. They
them
make that.
dry.
Yeah.
Yeah,
100%.
you got to do that. You know, and if you do get in such a pinch where, you know, no no pun intended, if you do get in such a pinch that you can't do that, go to your pantry.
Throw some
Okay.
flour?
No,
Oh,
the
so
corn
you're gonna get a
starch.
yeast
Little
infection.
cornstarch.
Oh,
Little
yeah,
cornstarch.
yeah.
You know, you put a little cornstarch down there. Think about this. At the end of the day, if you're a hungry little fella, you go back in, boom, hush puppy. Okay?
Ew.
So look at just
Oh, God. Just taint hush puppies. That's gross, dude.
they're actually
Oh.
called tut puppies, Vince. So
What are they
little
called?
do you know. Tut puppies.
Ew, dude. Why? Oh my God.
Good old
That
tut
is
puppies.
sick.
But truly, if you're a big guy, you gotta powder the
Or
pits.
anything, man. Your
You
balls are gonna
gotta
sweat.
powder the.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're gonna sweat. You know, even if you're not a big guy. Usually, if you're a bigger guy, you don't need an excuse to sweat. So, I mean, you could like Vince. I mean, I could sweat peeling an orange.
Yeah.
All right. So, I don't need an excuse, and especially out in the Midwest, it's so humid. That's what's gonna get you. Out
Yes,
here,
sir.
it's dry. It's dry like toast. But there, not so much.
Yeah, it's moist like buttered toast.
It is. See, two different variables of toast. See, you're buttered toast,
Uh-huh.
right? Right. I'm just straight out the oven.
It's
or
crispy
toaster.
regardless, but yeah, some of them are wetter than others.
That's right.
Yeah,
I mean,
just
look
put
at
on
this
an
skin.
antiperspirant, throw some powder on there. You end up getting lucky later in the day. You're going to be happy about
You
it.
know, there is something that I started using that I do not use antiperspirant anymore, and it works.
Are you au naturel? You smelling like buttholes?
No, I don't smell like a butthole. Hey, you've seen me recently. Do I smell? Not that I know of.
True.
Either that or you're just a really good friend and you don't
No,
have
you smell good.
the balls to tell me.
You
So
smell good.
I use this thing called a salt stick,
Ooh.
and yeah, it's wonderful.
Is it like
'Cause
when you
there's
salt a
no
potato and it pulls all the liquid out of it?
kinda, but it's like a stick, and it's a salt. It's like a salt. It's like a
Oh, it's
ho-
and
like a
battery?
kind of.
It's a
It looks
salt
like
and
just like a
battery?
stick of salt.
Come
It
on,
looks
you
like
didn't
a
even get the
stick of
joke.
salt.
You didn't even get the joke.
What do you?
You said
What's the
it's
joke?
a salt, and I was like, a salt and battery? God damn it. We're not on the same page.
Oh, you you made a Ray Lewis joke. Okay,
Yeah,
I got it.
No, more of a Joe Mixon joke. Remix.
Oh,
Hey, yo.
hit the thing. Hit the thing.
Oh, shit.
But
Oh, shit. Forgot about that. Where'd it go? Keep going. I have to find it.
no. So the salt stick. So the salt stick, right? You use it right after you get out of the shower. Salt sticks. But you use it right when you get out of the shower, and dude, you stay dry.
Ooh.
You don't smell, and what's also nice about it is there's no scent to it, so it doesn't interfere with whatever scent you choose to wear every day.
So my Versace stays Versace, not Old Spice
Ah.
Versace remix. Come
Your
on now.
Versace stays very Versace.
Okay. Let's talk about something more fun. Death on the field.
What?
Yeah. Not
Pause.
fun.
What?
Not
What
fun.
happened?
Very much sarcasm. You sent this to me. This is something that we almost ran into in the NFL. This is something that could have happened a few times in the NBA, but thankfully didn't. But unfortunately, Uruguayan defender Juan
What?
Izquierdo?
He isn't breathing no more. That's all.
Izquierdo? Yeah, true. Juan Izquierdo dies after
Ugh.
collapsing during a match
Too
due
soon.
to an
Ooh,
irregular heartbeat.
dang.
Sad. Sad.
Yeah, I saw it. I read it. 27 years old. Very sad instance that this poor kid's playing a sport that he's played his whole life, getting paid professionally to do so, and just a regular heartbeat, arrhythmia done.
Yeah, man. This is
Life is a fickle
obviously
thing, man.
sad. Obviously sad.
Yeah.
And probably not going to reach the family of this man, but thoughts and prayers to you, obviously. But this is something that is not that infrequent, having this issue. Now, happening on the field, it is infrequent. That doesn't happen to many people ever, in my estimation. But a man by the name of Isaiah Austin, who played 2 years at Baylor, he was going to be a first-round draft pick, and they started doing physicals for him before the draft and found that he has one, and it was impossible for him to actually play in the NBA. So the NBA drafted him as like an honorary NBA player. Now, 2 years ago, LeBron James Jr., also known as Bronny James, same issue. He had a heart issue, and he had to stay out for a while and get that shit taken care of before he was back on the court. Again, not during the game, thank God, or that guy would have been down. I have a question about Bronny after this, but two other people that I learned about this today, Billie Jean King, tennis legend, and Hall of Famer Larry Bird, both dealt with AFib during their professional careers. So, if you're playing a high contact, high energy, lots of running sport, probably best to get your physicals and make sure that you are A-OK when you're playing them. So this is a PSA for those.
Do you think he had this irregular heartbeat?
I don't know.
Do you think like he knew? Do you think like he knew he had it? I mean, as life would turn out, he did. But do you think he knew?
Well, and also this could happen to anybody at any time too, if I'm not mistaken. Like it's not
True, just like
it's
an
more
aneurysm.
likely. It's more likely for people that do have frequent irregular AFib issues. But like it could, you at any point your heart can just like skip and be like, oh fuck, and then you could be toast.
Yeah, it usually happens to the elderly quite a bit.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why like
frequent that way.
Apple Watches are such a thing.
Yeah.
Like if you have grandparents, Apple Watches,
Well,
they
Life
don't pay
Alert
us,
was
but-
a big thing for a while too.
Yeah, remember the Life Alert commercials? He's
fallen and I can't
fallen
get
and I
up.
can't get up.
Mm-hmm.
There you go.
Yeah, man.
There's branding. They're marketing for you, Vince. I mean, I tell you what. Maybe
That's a
we got to
fact.
do Maybe we got to do our own version of the life alert. It's just going to be the Taxi Squad podcast commercial. It'd be like, I sported and I can't move. And you'd be like,
I was
no,
gonna
we're
say I don't know if we can get a sponsor from them because our median age is not even close to those who need
our
those.
median age is,
Maybe parents or
yes.
grandparents would need those in that scenario.
We may have a couple two tree that fall in that lineup.
Yeah.
And we thank you guys for joining us
Yes,
because I know
appreciate it.
sometimes I hear those things happen in a different lifetime. It's like, well, we weren't in that one, so we're doing everything we can to
I've
figure it
gotten
out.
that on Twitter a couple times. Fred gave me one of those too. I'm like, oh, I was like,
Fred,
wish I
2
was
weeks
alive
in a
in
row,
the
Fred.
80s. Shout out Fred. Hey, Fred. I hope
2
you're
weeks in
listening
a
this
row,
time.
Fred. The fucking joy, I tell you.
Okay, so for many, Juan, my Wama, my best friend, my husband, father of my children, unconditional. Say a part of me dies with you. Uruguay suspended all football activities last weekend due to concerns over his health.
Weird.
South American football is mourning. So this was essentially a whole continent thing, to be honest. It's sad, man. It's fucked up. It's sad, obviously.
It's very sad.
I have
Do
Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was
Go
going
ahead.
to change the subject.
So was I. I was about to say, did we have any more news on our piss boy?
No, I got nothing. Let me do some research. I do have a
No new
question for
news
you,
on
though.
piss boy? Yeah, Vince.
I realized this the other day, or I guess not the other day, but when I was watching Summer League, LeBron James Jr., also known as Bronny, goes in the box score as Bronny. So if you look at it, it says B. James. And I'm like, does anybody else do that?
So you're saying his nickname is BJ?
I guess, yeah. I wish my middle name was Anthony, so my initials would be VAG.
Bitch.
Yeah. That'd be cool.
So Vince, you wish your initials were Vag?
Yeah, it'd be hilarious.
Would you would you be the Vag man? Would that be your vanity plate?
Hey,
Vag
man. It'd be better to be called Vag Man than Piss Boy, 100%.
Well, that could technically be two people, but there's an ass man, right? A la Seinfeld, and then
Yeah.
you could be the Vag man. What if you were a gynecologist and that was your license plate?
I don't know. I feel like gynecologists have like a better head on their shoulders than to make their license plate Vag Man.
I'm just saying. What if?
You could be right.
Just what if?
Okay. Actually, he broke his silence. He broke his silence.
What does our piss boy have to say? If
I'd
everybody
like
was
to-
with us last week,
Yes, I'd like to address the media reports about me that surfaced regarding the situation that occurred on a flight to Ireland this past weekend. The flight was unexpectedly delayed for approximately 4 hours. Okay, I am not even in this yet. There is no excuse. Dude, we were delayed 4 hours. I had to pee on that elderly lady.
go ahead. King, go on. Let's see what else he had to say for
They
himself.
didn't take off until 12:30 a.m. In preparation for the flight, I took sleeping medication. Okay, that I don't normally use.
Oh,
which
Vince,
resulted in
you
behavior-
hypothesized sleeping medication.
I did, which resulted in behavior that is not representative of my character, and I'd like to apologize to the passengers and flight crew. This tracks. This is what we were talking about last week. Like,
Was he drinking?
it
Is there
didn't say
any
I mean,
alcohol found in his system?
He's not gonna. That I don't know. I don't think they released a hospital report because he wasn't injured or anything. So I don't know. What I do know is that if he was taking sleeping pills, that could affect it. Obviously, drinking would affect it too, but I don't think he would put that in a statement if he's trying to, give a reason as to do that.
Well, you hypothesized, Vince. You were like, it's got to be like sleeping pills or
Well,
something.
that's what
because
happened with
people have
that-
made whole breakfasts for themselves at like midnight.
In the middle of the night, yeah, and that's what happened with that one lady. That's like, that motherfucker over there is not real. Remember that lady?
That's okay. People were
Yeah.
trying to riz her up after that
Yeah,
because she was kind of a
babe, certified babe,
kind
dude.
kind
No
of
way
a
around
babe,
it. Yeah, I'm about
kind
it.
of a sleeping babe,
I'd be
aka
cool.
sleeping beauty.
Yeah, I fudge with it. Crazy bitches, I'm in. Sign me up, dude.
I love it. I mean, hey, this guy. So instead of cooking breakfast, he just decided to piss on an old
Yeah,
lady.
he cooked Granny, if you will.
Do you think? I mean, God, the utter his eyes had to be completely like blacked,
Uh-huh.
as if he wasn't there, like
Yeah.
Mike at a casino in St. Louis,
Yep.
and
Can attest to that.
and just completely just unaware of what he's doing, just like, ah.
Yeah. There's there's a lot of things that go into that. I'm like, dude,
Well,
it's yeah, don't pee on old ladies.
there's the follow up, but it's good to know. Hey, he didn't mean to. He apologized. He's not like me. Granted,
CT'd
the
out
flight
to
was
shit.
in fact delayed,
I always say if your
but
flight's delayed for more than 2 hours, you should be able to pee on one unexpected old lady. And I don't think that's too much to ask.
I've been delayed for 8 hours before. You want to
Did
talk
you
about
pee on a
not
lady?
fun? No, I was in the American Club, viciously hungover
Hey,
from being in St. Thomas for a weekend.
you could have been not in the American club, so, count your
Man,
blessings.
can we talk about those clubs?
Do you think
When you don't
this is going to divide us from our listeners?
No, I don't think it's going to divide us from the listeners. It's just like what a great thing, but then you got to buy into them every year, and it's just like is the
Yeah.
juice necessarily worth the squeeze to
Depends
have
on how much you travel. You
shitty
travel a
hummus?
lot.
I do. I've thought about it. A couple 2-3. I've thought about it, but it's sometimes it's just not, the juice isn't necessarily worth the squeeze. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. Yeah, I mean, you'd know better than I would. You're on the plane a lot more often than I am.
Yeah, yeah. It's nice when you do get delayed, though. Let's put it that way. But I digress.
Yeah.
All right, Vince. Well, let's talk about something that is more our lane.
Yeah, bitch. Let's go.
We were so very excited last week to have college football back in the fold.
Yes, sir.
And in case you're living under a rock or you don't listen to the Taxi Squad podcast, you would know that week 0 was in fact last week. It was a very limited schedule. I watched as much as I
kind of
could.
hate it. Is that okay to say?
It was such a little like, here,
It's a
let me tickle.
tease. They
Let me
tickle your
let me
balls and then
tickle.
walk away.
Let me
It's
let me
bullshit.
massage these things, get them filled up, and we're out.
Right.
We'll see you next weekend.
Yeah, I got blue balled by football. I was like, this is so fun, and then
I
all of a sudden
got
it's all gone.
It was an electric weekend of college football, even though we had one
It
game.
was an electric
I mean,
3
we had
hours. More
yeah, it
than
was an
anything.
electric 3 hours, which it was. I mean, college football is
Yeah.
back. You had guys drinking on the sidelines, which was not on the sidelines, but in the press box,
In
which
the
was
booth, yeah.
which was absolutely fantastic.
You're cool with that,
So,
yeah?
oh, did you see Pat McAfee in
Uh-huh.
Ireland?
Yeah.
Guys, I mean, he was just hammered.
Brother, when in Rome, when in
Do as the
Dublin,
Romans
rip a
do.
Guinness.
I mean, drinking early is something that, especially around college football, is just so great.
Yeah, the
You
Irish know how to do it. I can confirm
Yeah.
that from real life experience.
Right, because all the bars open very early there and close very early there, correct?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Like,
Unless
a
you
bar
have an
will
event.
open at
Yeah.
okay.
close.
A bar will open at what, like 8 a.m.?
I've been to a couple. I mean, I can't attest for all of them. I'm not going to say I'm an expert at it, but there are ones that I've been to that were open early. Before a wedding was the best bar I've ever been to.
Before a wedding.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we had to go to church, so there's a bar next door. So you go from the church to the bar and then to the reception. It was awesome. But we went
that's
bar church.
fantastic.
We went bar church bar reception.
I mean, that's truly fantastic. You
yeah.
you love to see that.
All
You
time.
do love to see that.
Yeah, man.
Oh, that's great. That's so great.
But there was a lot of like, why are they drinking on set? This should be a professional broadcast. Fuck you. Fuck you
They're
for
in
even
Ireland?
saying that. They're in Ireland. Why? Okay, I don't understand why people that watch sports are like, hey man, this should be buttoned up. Like, who gives a fuck? Like, they're calling TV. They're meant to be entertaining. They didn't do anything wrong. They're having a couple, like maybe even one beer in the press box because they're in Ireland and drinking an Irish export that's Guinness. That's a fun thing to do. It's not a fucking issue. It's like just dumb, stupid chodes that watch him. And they're like, everybody should just be sitting there and just breaking down what Florida State's going to do, even though no one fucking knows because this is game number 1, dude. It's so dumb to me.
And can we talk about how the ACC potentially as a conference right now is a complete wild card?
It is.
Like, this game starts out the ACC conference overall as a complete and utter wild card.
You see that Seamus guy on college football or like the pre-show?
Yeah, he's great.
He's the only one that called Georgia Tech in that entire table. And guess
Do you
what?
think okay,
Spoiler alert,
do you
Georgia
think an
Tech won.
you think an Irishman knows his football? Not like that. Seamus just threw the dart at the wall.
Number one, I think he knows a lot more about college football than a lot of people in America. If he's going to be sitting on that, and because he made takes on a bunch of teams, and the fact that he knows all of them in the first place, like you'll get guys out, especially with the game going out there every year now. It's like you'll get guys out there that know what the fuck they're talking about,
That's true.
And at
Make
the
a
end of the
valid point.
day, maybe he does because he's the one that called it. Every other guy
Vince,
at
you might be
FSU
onto
except for
something here.
Seamus, man. Seamus just had his shit.
We need to get Seamus out. What I said to Vince initially when this whole thing started for me at 9 a.m., which is lovely here at this time of year because football starts right when I open my eyeballs.
Mm-hmm.
And it gives me a reason to like wake up, get the coffee going. I'm up at
Not
a
your
good
wife
time.
or anything like that. Football, baby, yeah.
Well, she gets mad because she wants to sleep in, and I'm like, I gotta go.
Yeah.
She's like, where are you going? I'm like, football.
Going to watch DJ Oogaloo Oogaloo throw the ball down
I'm
every other
watching
team except for
DJ
FSU.
Ugalule be very incapable of throwing footballs all morning. Okay,
Play team roulette is what he's been doing.
he's been playing team roulette. 27 attempts, completed 19 of them.
Yeah, man.
And threw for 193 yards, no touchdowns, no interceptions.
Yep.
What are we doing?
I saw a post that made me giggle, and I think I told you this already, but for the people, someone said that DJ would be the best football player in the world. He's fast, he's athletic, he's tall, he could throw the ball pretty damn far. The only problem is they actually made the forward pass in like 04 or 34 or something like that, and that was his biggest issue, is that the minute you could throw it forward, that's when it became hard for him. He has every intangible except being able to throw the fucking ball to guys. It's so bad.
He is a
He was
very
the next
interesting
guy.
anomaly.
He was the next guy. It just didn't work out, man.
He was. This is the problem. I mean, when you looked at it back, I mean, this is the whole thought process. Matt Barkley was supposed to be the top guy coming out of USC, injuries, so on and so forth. But that's not the case here. Like, DJ was supposedly going to come in and take the reins from T-Law, correct?
Yeah.
And that didn't happen. And Trevor Lawrence, one could even say, hasn't lived up to the expectation. I mean, granted, Trevor Lawrence is going to get paid a bag when the time comes.
Yeah, he hasn't not either, though, Like, DJ's been, like, actively bad.
Yeah, he won't get drafted at this stage of the game.
Mm-mm.
I mean, last year he played at Oregon State, and they didn't even touch a Pac-12 championship. So
Yeah, not even. I mean, maybe Oregon State will make it this year. There's only 2 teams, so
there's only 2 teams. We discussed that last week, but Vince, this game overall is exactly what you want in a college football matchup.
Lovely.
Close to start, back and forth. Florida State strikes first in this matchup. In the first 5 minutes, they drive down the field, boom, score. So you're like, oh shit, okay, Seminoles might have a dog of a team this year.
Yeah,
running the ball, good completion.
Dude, their first drive script, unbelievable. Look at them go. They knew exactly what they're doing.
See, this is the joy of college football, because that first drive is totally scripted.
Mm-hmm.
So many runs, so many pass plays. They prepare all week.
Yeah.
But then after that, man, I'll say this, Georgia Tech in the ACC this year, defensively, maybe, just maybe top 10.
Okay,
if not
I
top
like
5.
this. I like this. Yeah, they can.
They were lights out basically in the second half. Lights out.
I mean, Tech hasn't done shit in a long time. Every time I think of Georgia Tech, I think of Calvin Johnson. That's like the only thing in my head that just keeps going around. I became a fan. I mean, Jamal Haynes, dude. the halfback they have, the guy coming out of the backfield. I'm like, okay, I fuck with this guy heavy.
Dude, he hit a hezzy
Mm-hmm.
on the Florida State D backfield, the
Yeah.
defensive backfield, because there was 4 guys going for him
Yep.
towards the sideline. He hit a hezzy on him. They all went.
Yep. He's like, oh, pardon
And
me.
he took off for 20.
Yeah.
I was like, yo,
Yeah, dude.
electric. Absolutely electric to watch.
And
College
then it
football
ends.
just does it for me, man.
And then what? It ends, and then what?
It ends with a just okay. Can we talk about Haynes King for a minute before
Yeah.
we even get to the savior himself?
The
Goofy
underwear man.
fucking
Yeah.
goofy mouthed Aiden Burr. Guy has the weirdest mouth I've ever seen. Talk about a motherfucker right there who isn't
Early
real.
settler's name too, Aiden Burr.
Yeah, but Haynes King, can we talk about like the most plantation owner name ever?
Yeah. No, I know. It's I kept calling him Underwear Boy all day because I was like,
Well,
I don't know.
I kept calling him Undie Boy, and
Yeah.
I kept thinking to myself, man, if you sacked him, do you just get up and just go, like, you just get up and go, Fruit of the Loom, motherfucker,
Yeah.
and then you just back out? Like,
I wear Kirkland brand, bitch. You just walk
Kirkland
away.
supports my nuts,
I
Haynes.
go to Costco, my guy. Yeah, Haynes King, former Texas A&M quarterback, actually.
Yeah.
Fun fact. But yeah, funny name for a quarterback, but also fitting. It's like one of those like creative player names that you get on like college football, you know?
Yeah, it's one of those names that, it's John Dowd. It's just one of those names. It doesn't seem real.
Yeah, 100%. But
And he
goddamn it
had,
if
like,
it is.
He had the most like college football stat sheet ever for a
Yeah, he
winning,
didn't-
like just game managing quarterback. 11 for 16, 146, no touchdowns,
He didn't lose
no
it for him.
interceptions. He didn't
That
lose
was
it.
his
He just
job.
handed the ball off. He just
Yeah.
handed the ball off. He did his job. He
Dink
did his
and
job.
dunk.
Granted, but that's what you expect from a Haynes King. You expect DJ Ugalele to be
Yeah.
throwing the ball all over the place.
Is it so it's Ugalele? Ugalele? You got
mail.
Ugalele. Ugalele, I think it is.
Ugalele.
Yeah.
Ugalele.
Ukulele. Yeah, there you go.
Welcome.
I tried for a while the other day. I'm like, fuck it, I can't do it. I'm out. They tried to air the ball. It didn't end up working. Florida State comes out. They score in the first play. You're like, oh, they go for 2, one of the sickest 2-point conversions right in the beginning of the game. I'm like, all right, they're about to blow them the fuck out. And then just death. It was like no scoring happened midway through the second quarter and all the way to the fourth quarter. And then the ending happens. And it's nice.
This final drive, man, was a
Yeah.
thing of beauty. They just
Mhm.
got down into position. Aiden Burr, goofy talking motherfucker. Okay, so Aiden Burr looks like a skinwalker.
What the fuck does that mean?
Aiden Burr doesn't like that same lady on that plane. That motherfucker right there.
Oh, are you talking
doesn't
like
look real?
like what is it, like midnight at fucking whatever's house, like where the cats are making the lady move or whatever?
Kinda, but a skinwalker is something that they claim can become like a human or like go on like the dark side of the
Oh.
internet sort of thing, not the moon. People are like skinwalkers exist.
I see
and
what you're
here's
saying.
why.
Like a guy,
Right.
yeah, like a guy that can like transform into different beings and shit. Just like
Right.
not
Like he
fully
might be
human.
an alien walking among us because this dude doesn't look real.
Yeah.
Seems like a great guy though. Seems like a really nice guy. His team loves him. And he missed a field goal earlier that day.
Mm-hmm.
So he had to redeem himself.
Yeah. He looks like a White Walker from Game of Thrones.
Exactly. He doesn't look fucking real. Put up a picture of him really fast. There he is. There he is. Goofy looking guy. Just goofy looking.
He's just like he's a very, very, very white guy.
Pale, very pale, very like he almost looks like opaque. Like you
Yeah.
could see through him. Like you could see his veins through his face. It's weird. But his post-game interview, he can't like keep his tongue in his mouth, which is weird.
Yeah.
Which even led me to believe more that he's a skinwalker.
He could be. Could be, man.
Like his tongue is like on the borderline of all he's coming out of his mouth.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you're like, what's going? Are you a lizard, bro?
I mean, kickers are a different breed. That's what they say. But God
Well-
damn it, I don't care if my kicker's a different breed if he knows.
Final
how to fucking kick a ball
seconds
like
of the
that.
game, tie ball game.
Mhm.
4 seconds left. They hit that timeout, snap the ball. He hit a 44-yard game-winning field goal by the skin of his teeth.
Yeah.
And this is
I
the
mean,
beauty of college football, baby.
You gotta have that dog in you if you're gonna do that. And if you also missed it and then you come back and do that, like, come on now. I don't care if you're human, half human, like a centaur or whatever the fuck you call those things. If he's doing that, then he's got a job. Especially at Georgia Tech beating a team like that. So, God damn it, it was awesome. Now, Georgia Tech and Florida State playing in Ireland. Why is my first question.
Wife asked me this too. And she's just like she's like, why are these two teams playing in Ireland? I'm like,
Right.
I don't know. She's like, why start the season in Ireland? I'm like, I don't know. She's like, it
Well-
doesn't make a lot of sense because it's an American sport. I'm like, I know that, but I don't know. And-
I think it's probably because Aer Lingus spent a lot of money to advertise that. That's probably why.
Who?
The Irish airline, Aer Lingus, that flies out of America to
Are
Ireland.
they the son of Colonel Angus?
Lingus with an L.
Colonel Lingus. You've never heard of Colonel Lingus?
Uh-uh.
Colonel? No?
Uh-uh. Please fill me in.
Oh, Colonel Angus is a
Colonel
The
Ingus?
Colonel Angus. Yeah.
I feel like I'm missing something here.
You'll just listen back to it and you'll figure it out. I digress. So let's continue. So Aer Lingus, son of Colonel Angus, they promoted this.
From SNL?
And like I said, just go back and listen to it. So we're going to continue down this road of this
Oh,
scenario where, yeah, it was a lot of fun. And then, I mean,
Carnal.
everybody totally missed out.
You're talking about eating pussy. Yeah? Am I closer?
No.
Oh,
No way.
Someone
No
said-
way, Vince. Why'd you have to bury the lead like that, bro?
I need to know, man. I'm an info guy.
You could have just waited, but yes, Vince. That's why you hit me with that.
Got it.
I
Maybe I
thought
don't
it
know
was
that because I
funny.
don't do that. Just kidding. I do that. I love you. All right. Yeah, I think it should be. I think it should be Notre Dame. I do think it should be in Notre Dame. Obviously, I'm going to be biased every time, but I can't figure out what connection the Southeast has with Ireland at all. And I think like Florida State has a kicker
No.
that's from Ireland or something like that, and that's how they made the connection. But it just doesn't do much for me. But I like that it's there, and I like that they're drinking in the booth, and they should be able to do whatever the fuck they want, and other
Yeah.
people have to get the fuck over it. You know?
No, you gotta love it. I do truly love it. I'm just really excited for week 1. I mean, technically that's week 0.
Yeah.
Utah State and New Mexico State played. Okay.
Okay, Hawaii
Cool.
played at midnight against Delaware
Okay.
State, I think, FCS opponent. You're like, okay.
All right, let's just keep it moving.
yeah.
Don't get me wrong. Like I said, I'll watch anything I can get at this stage of the game, but
But
they
if you're
didn't really
watching-
televise that.
If you're watching FSU versus Georgia Tech, you want to watch an SEC matchup, or you want to watch a Big 10 versus a Pac-12 or Big East or whatever you want to do at the time. Like, not Big East, excuse me. Big 12. Big 12. That's what I want to watch. That's what I want to watch.
Yeah, Big East doesn't really compete very well in college football, Vince.
Big
unless you
East
want to
isn't
play
even like a thing in college football. Yeah.
Southern Alabama State or whatever the hell they're called. But we do have a week of football ahead of us, and I'm so excited. We even get college football on Sunday this
Yeah, man.
upcoming weekend, Vince, which
Which I
if you
don't
can
like.
believe it. Why?
I mean, I do
It's
like
a long
it, but
weekend. It's a holiday. It's a holiday.
I do like it, but I also don't like, Sundays are for the NFL, and I know they haven't started yet. And I hate the same thing that the NFL is doing when they're like, we're gonna play NFL football on Saturday. Stupid. I don't like that either. Stick to your
Well, they only
day.
do that during the playoffs, Vince.
I know,
They're
but
not. They're
stick
just
to your
doing the preseason.
day.
Yeah, but when the people don't have the footballs on a Saturday, it's nice just to sit down, watch your team, do
I
what you're
know.
gonna do,
Just feels like a money
right?
grab. Give me this day too, you know? I don't like it.
Oh, it's such a money grab.
It's
Such a
my
money grab.
biggest like
But
old man yells at clouds fucking take that I have, to be
you
honest.
damn clouds. Um, but tell me about one of your favorite games that you're looking most forward to watching in this upcoming week schedule. Which it's not a overloaded schedule, but there's some games here. Is there any one in particular that you're looking forward to watching?
Yeah, there is. I no. Listen, outside of the team that I like, because there's a really good matchup for my Domers in this first week with A&M, but I want to get to that in a second. Um, Georgia's going to be really good. Georgia's a hell of a lot better than Clemson. What's been happening a lot, especially in media base the last couple of weeks, is hey, I think we've been a little too mean to Clemson. Maybe Clemson's a little bit better than we've been talking about. So a lot of people are going to get up. I mean, it's Georgia Clemson, 11 a.m. Saturday, 11 a.m. Central, excuse me. A lot of people are going to get fucking jacked up to shit for that. That's not much for me. I'm more excited to watch your guys' team against LSU because that is the matchup of two teams with two new quarterbacks.
My guys' team has a name called the USC Trojans.
Yes.
Probably missed a mark not wearing the hat tonight, but
It's all right.
doesn't go. I'm wearing green, so what you gonna do? But I do
Should have had
believe
gold
that
on then.
I don't know if Georgia. Okay, Beck looks to be the guy
Mm-hmm.
for them.
For the nation, it feels like. People are calling him right now to be Heisman guy.
Yeah, just due to the role players around him. But Quinn Ewers, I think overall is a quarterback talent.
You think he's number one in
Maybe.
the country right now, Quinn Ewers?
I don't know anybody
Jackson
touching
Dart's
him.
getting some play.
Dart's great. Dart just plays hero ball a little too much.
Mm-hmm. Which I love.
Where,
But, yeah.
well, Quinn Ewers is in a very pro style
Steve Sark, yeah.
under the booger eater, Steve Stark. Now, where Leno is a lot more
Run and gun.
movement, spread the ball out, spread, run, gun, spread offense. There's some things there that he can do with an athletic quarterback that makes a lot of sense, and they actually have a top tier tight end in the country right now. So
Yeah.
he's got a lot of weaponry. Jackson Dart does as well, and I think Jackson Dart's cool as hell with the Braveheart one.
He's the man.
Deal.
Yeah, he is the man.
Badass.
Yeah.
And he has a sick name. He has a quarterback's name, Jackson Dart.
Right.
Throwing darts, Jackson Dart. But I think overall, though, it's going to be a toss-up all year between Beck, Quinn Ewers, Jackson Dart, and Shedeur Sanders all season long. Unless there's always one, though. There's always one.
That comes out of the woodwork?
Comes out of nowhere. Like that guy.
Like Riley Leonard or something like that. Some people would say. I don't know. Just throwing a name out
Well,
there.
you should pay attention to. Just going to throw this out there right now. Should pay attention to that OU QB. Arnold looks to be a guy.
Yeah, he's got another kind of early settlers name too. But like from the Britain side, like Benedict Arnold.
He looks to be a guy, man. He looks to be the part, and he's young. He's a sophomore.
Well, man, people are fucking around with Miller Moss too right now too. Like that's a thing.
Miller Moss had a great end of year. Started as a rookie in a bowl game.
Yep.
Or freshman in a bowl game.
Right.
Miller Moss has a high ceiling. He reminds me far more of like a Matt Barkley than anybody at USC in a long time.
You're not bringing back Caleb Williams. You're not bringing Caleb Williams now. This is a different kind of guy for sure.
I don't think anybody could be Caleb though. That archetype is coming though, but I'm not going to talk about it too much. We'll get into it. But Vince, back to the point.
Yeah.
So, not to squirrel, but to squirrel. So Clemson, Georgia.
Yeah.
Your thoughts on this game overall? I mean, are you just thinking Georgia's going to roll because Dabo?
I just think Georgia's so fucking good. Like they really are. They're not worse than they were last year. Like like what the last 2 years in the draft, 3 years in the draft, it was like Georgia player, Georgia player, Georgia player. Everybody's fucking out. Like Stetson Bennett leaves. They're in a changeover year last year. They're still really good, but not as dominant as they were. They're bringing back a lot of fucking guys this year. They're a team that's still really, really good, and they're number one in the country again. I don't see Georgia walking out and losing to a Dabo team. That being said, I also don't think Dabo's like Clemson loses week 1 and people are like, "Well, is Clemson a joke?" No, they fucking lost to Georgia. Like that's what like I think Clemson's better than we think they are, but I also think Georgia's definitely the best team in the nation.
Dabo has this very interesting theory as a coach right now that he doesn't need to go into the transfer portal.
Yeah, because he's like morally against it. It's lame. But also his teams are always good still, man.
Do you realize he could have had Keon Coleman
Mm-hmm.
from Florida because he had interest in Clemson and he said, no, that's not what we do here. We build our own I disagree.
I mean, at some point he's gonna have to get the fuck over it.
Are you kidding? Some of the best talent in the country could transfer right now.
Well, dude, it's a different landscape, and it's like you're gonna have to figure it out, or you're gonna have to get out of it. Nick Saban's like, "Fuck it, I can't do this. I'm out." Like, and I respect that.
That's what I fear for Dabo. I fear if Dabo has a shit year, which he's had 3 consecutive since Lawrence left. Really,
they got better second half of last year, but I know what you're saying.
Sure, but who they play? Nobody. No world beater.
Well, at that point too, it's like you're already kind of out of it. Well, I mean, that's the thing, dude. It's like you said, if they have another bad year this year, which I don't believe that they will because their team is talented. At some point, Clemson's like, hey, man, I know you like building your fucking team, but this isn't how you build a team anymore. That's like trying to call people out of a phone book and the internet's been invented for 5 years. Like, go on fucking Google, idiot. Like, what are you doing?
Tom Brady said it best. When he played, you played for a program. Now you learn a playbook.
I don't like these quotes. I don't fuck with Tom Brady being all up in the media now. It's starting to piss me off already.
Why? What do you think was going to happen?
When he was talking shit about quarterbacks can't even get hit anymore. He's the fucking reason that they changed those rules.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Bitch.
No.
Yeah, he is.
No.
You know that's
no
true.
way, man.
Get
You're
that
full of
dumbass
shit.
smirk off your face.
No
It's
way,
like,
man.
Dude, a lot like, and I get it.
No.
And also Tom Brady, given the opportunity at that age, given money getting thrown around, Tom Brady's not staying at Michigan. Tom Brady's probably going somewhere else. Tom Brady's probably playing better somewhere else and not getting drafted in the 6th round. He could have set himself up a little bit better.
Life before the internet, Vince, I tell you.
That's what, yeah, dude, I was 6 when he got drafted. Like, it was a different game. And there's a part of me that's like, yeah, I do like the, tradition of college football and all that stuff. But with the positives, like players, making money from people because they've been making money for schools hand over fist for years. With that will come, hey, we need a little bit more freedom to move around. Like if the rules need to be changed back, then they can do that. And then the NCAA is going to get hated on more and they're going to become less of an establishment than they already are. Like you can't control people like this. It's a free market. You have to get over it.
I understand what you're saying. I'm just saying it has value of what he's bringing to the table overall as a comment. Like it's not, he's right. It's far more of a mobile landscape than it ever has been. And guys are making real money now to play a sport at a college level.
Yeah. And
okay, let's get into
that's the past, Mike. That's the past, Mike. This is the future.
So we think Georgia's going to roll.
Yeah,
what are some other games you're looking forward to that may not be ranked?
I mean, I like the Florida matchup, Miami versus Florida. That'll be fun. Miami.
You got to love it.
Miami's got to be good this year. Miami had some funny little games last year. I don't know how much you followed it. They had a couple games where you're like, what the fuck are you doing? Where it was kind of just like,
yeah,
they need to get their shit together a little bit.
Everybody thought Mario Cristobal was going to leave Oregon, go back to Miami, hometown king, blah, 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 blah.
And then end the game clock management. You remember that fucking game?
Yeah, they had a game one. They just had to knee it out, and they're throwing like it's fucking NCAA 25 at the end of a game where you're playing your buddy and trying to run up the score on him.
Yeah, it's all-time dumb what they did. What are your thoughts on Florida this year? It's weird team.
And it's such a competitive SEC.
Yeah.
I don't see it.
I think they're
I don't
cooked
see
before
it.
the season starts.
Florida, man, it's kind of sad because Florida really hasn't been a powerhouse over the past decade. And college football to me is so much better when Florida is great.
I agree. There's teams where
When the
you want to see
Gators are
out
the
there.
Gators, college football is fantastic.
Yeah, when Gainesville's fucking popping.
Yeah,
It's
when
awesome.
they got an Urban or a Spurrier or somebody like that, but they're really
Or Urban Billy Donovan connection. Those fucking years were crazy. When they were just national championship, like over and over again.
Well, you had the god of Tim Tebow himself who would either run the ball for 10 yards and lay somebody out or throw it 80 yards.
Yeah.
And then everybody realized, oh, he doesn't have good mechanics. And you
But
need that in the NFL.
goddamn lucky in the NFL. He went to the playoffs, don't forget.
I don't know how lucky he is. I mean, Tim, hey, under Josh McDaniel.
What, on the Patriots?
Yeah, wasn't that Josh McDaniel? They won a playoff game.
He was on the Broncos.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. The Broncos.
I don't think he was the coach then, was he?
I think he was, Vince. You may want to go
Oh.
back and check yourself before you wreck
I thought
yourself.
Josh McDaniels
That was the
didn't-
same year he traded Jay Cutler.
Yes, it was. Yes, it was.
That was it because he was like, "You're a fucking douchebag.
No,
Get out of here. I don't want."
John Fox, right?
Was it Fox? It was Fox.
Yeah.
You're right because
Yeah.
Fox took over after, and then he got Peyton the following year after the neck surgery. Okay.
Oh yeah.
It's all coming back.
Josh
to me now.
McDaniels, I don't think has ever sniffed a playoff game as a head coach because he's a big piece of shit loser as a head coach. Ohio State. I still think they're overrated. I'm gonna ride this bus all fucking year. I don't like them. I don't like them
Why?
as a team. I don't know.
Why?
Something stinks. I don't know if Ryan Day's got that dog. I really don't.
Dude, he's one of the most winning coaches in Big Ten history. What the fuck are you talking
until it's
about?
time to actually win big games. He loses big games.
He beat your Notre Dame Fighting Irish
Yeah.
at the
You're
Jesus
admitting that was a
Stadium.
big game? I don't know. End of year, can't beat Michigan.
Top
Can't go
3
to the
games.
playoff. I don't know, man. Big Ten's harder this year, man. Oregon goes up there. What's going to happen?
They have a very similar schedule to that of your oh yeah, okay. Not bad. I mean their schedule's very weak.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And they'll
Ranked
they'll
games,
mosey on up.
Oregon, Iowa, Penn State, and Michigan. All ranked games. Oh yeah, no, that's it.
And Penn State's the best team in that mix-up.
And you talk about a
Or
team
Oregon,
that
and then
everybody's
Penn State,
so high on. Penn State, they're saying this is the year they got the guys.
They like that QB. They like that QB. He's a big old boy.
freshman.
Yeah, he's a big boy, though.
Freshman.
Yeah, 6'6" Josh Allen type, they're thinking. I don't know about all that. Give him a second or two.
Well, we'll see. I like this game, Penn State, West Virginia. I think there could potentially, just potentially be upset fuel.
Well, you and Pat McAfee both. Pat McAfee's like, hey, West Virginia. Who knows?
Well,
he's a homer.
He played at
I
West
get it.
Virginia.
He's a
I'm an
homer, I get
innocent
it.
bystander in all this. I just think that's a team that might just creep up, especially a young QB, unless Penn State just comes out and lays the hammer down.
Who was that quarterback that had the nation in love? That West Virginia one.
Pat White?
Pat White. Oh, I love me some Pat White.
Pat White was like the right-handed Mike Vick.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that was like Pat White's going to take care of the NFL for 20 years. And then I was like, never mind.
But
we were
today, in today's landscape, Pat White would attract.
He'd do it.
Same
Can we
thing
talk
with
about my
Taj
boys
Boyd.
a little bit right now?
Yeah, Vince, go ahead. Let's talk about your
Notre
golden
Dame, Texas
Bombers.
A&M, without being like they're annoying and I hate them and fuck their schedule and join a conference. Like a real conversation here.
Yeah, let's have a real conversation.
Notre Dame plays Texas A&M. Texas A&M, best recruiting class. They're paying everybody a shit ton. They're going to be great. They have a real coach now. Correct me if I'm wrong. That's what people are saying now. Texas A&M
We'll
finally got a real
see.
coach.
They thought they had a real coach in Jimbo.
This is
I
what
don't
I'm
even know who's
saying.
coaching them.
They finally have a real coach. They'll finally be good. If Notre Dame loses this game, I'm going to be so mad, like to the nth degree, because this is classic. Like A&M comes in, they're ranked under the team that they're playing. They're at home. They might win it. Everybody's just going to be like, yes, A&M's finally here. That's what I'm afraid of. It's like the Bears playing the Packers week 1, and you're like, there's no chance. Like, God damn it. You know? I think Notre Dame's going to win this. I'm like 80-20 Notre Dame's going to win it. And Notre Dame's team is good. But if they lose to A&M, it's just cannon fodder for the bullshit. And I don't know if I'm ready for that.
Dude, you're playing a SEC borderline,
Yeah.
okay, top recruiting class in the country
Mm-hmm.
at Kyle Field,
Uh-huh.
the largest stadium in college football next to the Big House.
Right.
And it's the first game of the season
I know.
against Notre Dame
I know. That's what
in
I'm
an
saying.
SEC climate. Okay. Dude, no shot.
What, that they're
80-20? 80-20.
I'm
You're
80-20
saying-
because Notre Dame's also a top recruiting team. And Notre Dame also got a new quarterback that's a lot better than we were
Why?
last year.
Just
Their
because
defense
you
is
guys
still going to be
recruited
good.
Brian Urlacher's kid that
No.
you think you're going to be
No,
like
they were-
world beaters now?
They were top 5 the entire year last year.
They
for the
always
incoming
are,
class.
Vince.
I know, and they're always pretty fucking good.
They're always, they're good enough to barely make it into the top 10, and then
All
everybody's
right.
like, they should have been in the Final Four.
No one
What?
says that. Everybody always says they don't have a conference championship. There's no way they can get up
Correct.
that high, which is how it's going to go.
Correct. Which I
This
do
brings me-
agree.
This brings me to my other point.
Uh-huh.
Notre Dame, also fucking Kevin Warren's the reason that Notre Dame's not in the fucking Big Ten. So you can go ahead and blame his little bitch. ass.
How is Kevin Warren the reason of that?
Because they were trying to like negotiate a deal and the Big Ten wasn't playing ball. So why the fuck would they? They still get enough revenue
Well,
just being an independent league team. Why the fuck would they want to go do that?
Kevin Warren doesn't have emotions, so
I
there's
agree.
that part.
But he wants to add seats,
Do you-
baby.
Do you see, do you see him in Hard Knocks? Every clip they cut to him,
Oh
he's
my-
just like,
I know. I don't like him. He gives me the heebie-jeebies.
talk about a skinwalker.
Notre Dame, okay, they win this game. They're mostly, they're considered the most likely to go undefeated because their schedule is really good or really easy,
Vince.
obviously.
I will say, for a first game of the season,
Yeah,
this may be the toughest they've had
Yes.
in a decade.
that's what I'm saying. So if they do win this game, which I believe that they will, their schedule gets considerably easier the rest it goes.
Yeah, no kidding.
I'm giving you a hypothetical for the playoff. You're getting hot right now. Let me just talk about this. Don't get hot. You're getting hot with me. Don't get hot. Let's have a conversation. You go to the rest of the schedule, they lose, one game this year. They go crazy and they go like 11-1. They go crazy. Hypothetical, Mike. This is what's going to make people the most angry across the entire country. They go 11-1. They get slotted in that 5 position. They don't have to play a conference championship game. They get slotted
Okay.
in 5 for the college football playoff, and they're going to be between the ACC champion and the Big 12 champion. And they don't have to play anybody in the SEC or the Big 10 outside of USC until the semifinals. They can go all the way through the season and not even sniff the SEC until the game before the national championship. That would be the best scenario for me and cannon fodder for the world. Everybody's going to be like, fuck this fucking team. I hate them. And I'm excited for that. And I hope that happens.
Well, you're going to have to play Georgia Tech and Florida State.
I know.
Those are some tough games on the schedule. And
I'm
like I
saying,
said, I
hypothetical.
give them credit.
Yeah.
I give them credit, man. They are starting the season off going into a hostile environment. That stadium meter is going to be just fucking at 10.
Yeah, all those
It's gonna
freaks
be-
at A&M.
Yeah, for sure. It's going to be a game.
100%.
Now, let's not forget the last time that you played a semi-ranked opponent in the South, you didn't fare too well because you got smoked by Clemson last year. Not smoked, but 31-23. Not great.
Yeah.
And
One score
granted, that
game.
was in a tough environment. So
Sure.
if I had to throw a dart
With Sam
on this
Hartman,
game,
no. I mean, Riley Leonard is better than Sam Hartman.
great
I
hair.
really say that.
If
Yeah,
I
yeah,
had to
hands down.
throw a dart at this game, though, considering what it is, an SEC defense, what they're going to go up against, we'll see what their offense puts on the field. I think it's a 1-touchdown game, and I think A&M wins.
Yeah, obviously. You didn't even have
But
to
you're
say
saying
that.
it's an 80-20, Vince.
For me personally, you're always going to
Oh.
pick against Notre Dame. You're going to be like NIU.
No, I'm not.
Or you're going to be like Northern Illinois is actually putting together a good MAC schedule this
No,
week.
I'm
They
not.
could,
No
they could,
shot.
they could beat the top 10 fucking team in
No
in
way.
Yes,
no way.
You say that shit all the time. Last year you were like Notre Dame 2-8. I'm like, what the fuck are we talking about?
No, I didn't. I did
Yeah,
not
you
say
are.
that.
I'm
No, I
saying
did
it's
not.
gonna be a 1-touchdown game. I think Texas A&M is always overrated, and by the end of the year, they always end up being worse than everybody thought they were gonna be. I'd assume they were gonna be somewhere near 20, probably lower at the end of the year. I think Notre Dame wins this. I don't think they're overranked, even though you seem to think that. A lot of people are like, yeah, they should be ranked lower, but not lower than 12. They're still a fucking
I
top
thought
15
Florida
team.
State's overranked too.
Well, because they lost Jordan Travis. But Florida State also didn't lose a game until the conference championship last year.
They had Jordan Travis.
I know. Yeah.
Who was arguably one of the best quarterbacks in the country.
Until he
Until
his
he
demise.
destroyed his ankle.
Yeah.
I feel terrible because he would have probably been drafted on the first night in the NFL draft.
Hey man, he still has a chance. Where is he now? Saints? No, that's Rattler, isn't it?
That's Rattler. I don't know where Jordan Travis is. I don't even know if he signed.
He got drafted. Oh yeah. He's a protege right now, Mike.
What is he doing?
He's a protege to the king of training proteges in the NFL right now. The guy known for training one of the better quarterbacks in the league right now.
Who's that?
Think about it. A little to the north of me. Old man, a little bit of ayahuasca treatment.
Is he on the Jets?
He's the backup quarterback for the New York Jets. Yes, sir.
Good for him. It's
Yeah.
actually tracks for him.
It's a good spot for him. I actually do think it's a good spot for him.
Yeah, good for him. That's awesome. You love to see it.
Yeah.
Now, what are some other games on this schedule?
Wait,
I mean,
but that hypothetical would drive you up a fucking tree.
What's
100%.
that?
Notre Dame has a good year. They get slotted at 5. They play the ACC or the Big 12 winner, and they don't have to go against any Big 10 or SEC opponent until the semifinals. You get so mad.
Vince, I don't think that's going to happen, though, because
Good.
I personally don't believe
it.
they're going to be able
Mark
to
it down.
eclipse the top 12.
Mark it down in your book of anger. I'm going to bring it up when it happens, bud. Watch out.
Okay. That's like saying right now that Miller Moss is going to be, that breakout QB of the year.
Incorrect.
And USC is going to have a top 25. They're going to have a top defense. And, somehow, we don't play an SEC opponent all year.
No, you play a bunch of Big 10 opponent. No one will get mad about that. Also, USC's 23rd in the nation. Notre Dame's 7.
Yeah, and they're overranked. If anything, you should be
But
closer
more
to us.
talented.
They're 15
No shot. See
on
ya.
paper, potentially.
bias is
Not
showing.
offensively.
I
Not
like having an unbiased podcast. I like being
not
unbiased.
oh yeah. Meanwhile, unbiased, you're talking about a Notre Dame team that's overranked every fucking year with a horseshit schedule minus this year because you start the year off with an SEC team.
Positive vibes
And then
only.
you
You're a
already
hater.
start
I'm
laying
not a
out a
hater.
landscape
Yeah.
of your team making the Final
Hypothetical.
Four.
Hypothetical.
Okay, and not playing any Big 12 or
Mike.
conference championship, leaning into the fact that you're not in a conference,
You're
and also leaning into the fact that half of the fucking Midwest is in love with this fucking program.
You're
Just
just a
stop it.
certified. You're just a certified hater. I'm a positive
I
vibes
use
guy.
logic. Look
I
at
hope
history.
your team's good.
Look at the last
hope
time
my
a
team's
Notre
good.
Dame
I hope we
team
all have
was
fun.
in the playoffs.
Yeah,
Vince.
yeah, yeah.
When?
Oh, yeah. 6 years ago, 7 years ago.
Manti
Well,
Te'o was on the team, Vince.
longer
Okay.
than that. Damn.
Uh-huh.
I know. When's the
And
last
they
time
played
USC was
Alabama
there?
in the national championship. And what happened? The biggest talking
They
point
played
after
Alabama
that
in
was
the what?
national championship.
Oh, they went to the national championship. It's crazy.
Yeah, and everybody was so surprised that they got a bid to even
Oh,
do
yeah.
that. And then the biggest topic of that whole fucking game was AJ McCarron's wife. So
Yeah.
I don't want to hear about it.
Beauty. Yeah, I'm a positive guy. I don't need time for the negativity. But it's all right.
Can I also
We'll be
remind you that in one of your most recent bowl games, you lost to a Big 12 school
Yeah.
when you were up. Okay.
Are you talking non-playoff bowl game when everybody sits out and none of the fucking
Oh no,
starters
no.
play?
You had your people in Marcus Freeman's first year. Yeah. No, you
What,
guys were
in
up
COVID?
20
2020?
points. 20 points at the
Are you
half.
talking COVID right
Lost
now?
to Mike Gundy's boys.
Who needs it?
Just
COVID?
saying.
I don't even remember that year. Yeah, I think your team's going to be great. I think mine's going to be great. I think we're all going to have a positive time. I don't have time to hate like you do, Mike. I'm just trying to have a
There's
good time.
not hate, there's logic, Vince. There's a big difference.
I
So
don't
let's
know.
talk logically about my USC Trojans
Okay.
playing a absolute buzzsaw of a situation, playing LSU at a middle ground game
Yeah, how the
against
fuck
a
did
very
that happen? Week 1.
I love it.
Why?
Because it's fun.
I know, but like,
And we're not
do you
afraid
want
of
that?
we're not afraid of tough competition.
All
Unlike
right,
the
again, we're
team
not
that is
talking
there.
about them
Okay, just
anymore.
saying,
I'm a
just saying.
positive guy. You should learn to be a
Just
little
saying.
more positive. You should learn to be a
Let's
little
just
more
talk
positive.
about the schedule here. Let's just
That's
talk
what
about
I'm
our
asking
first.
to do. That's
Let's
what
just
I wanna
talk about
do.
our first 4 games, shall
That's
we?
what I want to do. This isn't the point. This isn't the point you're trying to make.
Sunday, September 1st.
Yeah.
LSU.
Yep.
Okay.
W or
In
L.
Vegas, Allegiant Stadium. It's going to be a big game.
W or L.
What's WRL? Oh,
W
WRL.
or L.
It's
New
going to be a close
quarterbacks all
game, but
around.
it's
Yeah.
it's going to be a close game, but it's going to be an L.
Okay.
Utah State, we get back in the winner's circle. Then
Yep.
we have Michigan
Again.
at Michigan.
What the fuck are they gonna do?
Then we have Wisconsin at at SoCal, which
At the
I'm
Rose Bowl. Yeah.
not the Rose Bowl.
Or no, that's where UCLA plays.
It's Olympic Stadium.
Olympic Stadium. Yes.
And then Minnesota Penn State. So
Yep.
we got a hell of a schedule here to start
Yeah.
the year, and they really were like, you know what? Let's just run these guys through the ringer.
Yeah.
And we end the season with your boys.
Uh-huh.
Gonna be fun. Gonna be a season. Miller Moss has potential, I think, in a offense led by none other than one of the most
Lincoln.
winning coaches in the Big 12, Lincoln Riley. To, I think, do some pretty cool work this year. He's got a really talented offense. Zachariah Branch might be the most explosive player in the Big 10 overall, just as a true talent. Can run a sub 340 and just an absolute electric out of the slot and wherever you really slate him.
I think the best move that you guys made in this offseason was
defensive coordinator. Yes, we know.
Yeah. Was Alex Grinch getting the fuck out of Dodge.
Alex Grinch, man. Everybody thought this guy was going to be the second savior of Christ coming from Ohio State. He was nothing.
No.
It
Not
just
at
all tracked. It just all tracked back to the same. And that's the
Yeah.
problem. If Lincoln could figure out the defense or find somebody to figure out defense, he's fine.
Oh, yeah.
But he's never been capable of doing that. We talked about it at nauseum last week.
He's all ass, no tits. Yeah. You need,
But this has
you need
been
both sides. Yeah.
but it's been the issue with most of every USC head coach over the past 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
Clay Helton couldn't figure it out.
Yeah, but I mean, those OU teams weren't sweating defense either.
Because you threw up 53 points a game.
I know, but again, like his track record's no defense, all offense. You get a little bit of defense and his offense stays as good as it is, we're talking something different, you know?
Correct. Now, I think this game is not going to be fun for us. I think we'll see, though. Brian Kelly, his teams are always super hitter. His family are super hit or miss.
Oh, yeah. Trust me, I know.
A game I'm like super intrigued by that I don't think a lot of people are really giving any sort of love, I don't know. I just think
What are you talking?
Boston and Florida State, Boston, an
Boston
ACC
College?
matchup. Yeah. An ACC matchup here that I don't know how Boston College is going to play this year,
They might be
but
all right.
just imagine you lose to start the season, which you have 2 conference matchups back to back,
Yeah.
and you lose them both
They can't. They really can't, man.
against teams you were supposed to handle.
I mean, to be fair, the majority of their schedule they're supposed to handle. But also, like, Boston College has the opportunity to be sneaky. They're not losing that game. There's no way in fucking hell they're losing that
They're
game.
at home. It's a tough environment.
Well, and
With
after the
crowd and-
storm of last year, not making it to the playoff, everybody freaking the fuck out and then going out and doing a stinker out in Dublin, they're going to go home and be like, hey, motherfuckers, we're not losing this week. And I actually believe that because DJ is also playing for a future right now.
Yeah. Now DJ is
know?
playing to maybe try and get drafted before the 5th round.
Yeah, right.
Maybe.
He's trying to get out of Brady territory. The Big Ten, Mike, is funny to me because
Why?
it's new. We're not gonna know what it is until about 75% of the way through the season. Ohio State's best team, yeah, better than Oregon.
I just think due to how well they're structured, how well they play defense, the offensive talent, the transfers coming in now, I don't see a team beating them.
So
Unless
Michigan
a team
can't.
like
This is the change. This is the tide changes. Harbaugh leaves. Ohio State beats Michigan again.
oh yeah,
Okay.
this is that year. Sharon Moore, I like a lot, but now all the sanctions are going to start coming down, and before you know it, you're going to start
That
feeling the
is-
wrath
yeah.
of this.
Yeah.
They're going to get like completely destroyed.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be
That
like
program is going to just be blacklisted for probably the next 5 years after this. They're going to be like what happened to Penn State after Joe Pa got popped.
But you got one already, so fucking whatever.
Right.
I
You said it best last week. You're like,
Yeah.
okay, and after all that, you got one. So ride it into oblivion. I mean,
Yeah.
at this point, just ride it out. Just
see you
ride
guys
it
in
out.
2028 or 9 or
You
whatever.
kind of feel bad for Sharon Moore though, because he didn't. I mean, well, now it's
But,
come to light
know-
that he did delete some text messages from Connor. What's his nuts?
But still, like deleting text messages isn't 5 years sanctions.
Yeah, that's true. But it's the
But-
NCAA. I think the NCAA should be abolished.
He leads the team. They win a shit ton of games. They're banned, but he does a fucking great job with it. That's new job opportunity still. It's like guy takes over a team that's cursed and they're still fucking good. Through hell or high water, this guy knows how to coach. That's kind of the mindset that'll come out of that.
They lost a lot of great talent to the NFL.
Most of it. Yeah.
JJ McCarthy, we'll see. JJ
Game
could have
manager.
an opportunity to play.
Blake Corum was a fucking monster for him, though.
Yeah, and Blake Corum goes to,
But the Rams.
I don't think he's going to be great. Yeah, I don't think he's going to be great at the next level, but we'll see.
We lost a couple.
Maybe.
Couple good running backs.
He's a third down back and some defensive guys that can't be replaced, so.
Sneaky quick down the sideline, though. All right. Last thing on college football. Colorado's going to go undefeated this year. We all know it. Warren Sapp's got an awesome defensive line. Deion Sanders keeps talking about how good his defensive line is. When people ask him about his defensive backs, he talks about how good his defensive line is. And Shedeur Sanders is going to win the Heisman. And also, I didn't know if you heard this, but solid defensive line at Colorado this year.
They need to worry about the offensive line.
And
they need to worry about their offensive
secondary
line.
and linebacker play and everything except for the quarterback and the fucking defensive line. But you can't ask him about any of that, and you can't say anything bad about that because he's just gonna fucking kick you out.
It's so interesting to me
Bad.
that they're banning reporters.
Bad.
Banning
Sourpuss.
reporters.
Softer than
What?
soft.
Like, this is what the territory comes with if you're a head coach especially in college football.
He's Wonder Bread. He's marshmallow fluff, baby. He's softer than soft
So
can be.
to
It's
bury
bad.
this lead, it came out this week that SI Sean Keeler out of Colorado that covers Denver
Yeah.
was banned
For
from
being
all
mean.
university. Yeah, all Colorado football. Like Dion has come out and said that he's banned.
We talked about this 2 weeks ago, right? Where it was like
Well,
about
it
this,
said
but
allegedly
this
that
has come to
what was
fruition,
going
right?
on, and Sean Keeler was the guy who bringing out all these negative things
Yeah.
about the Colorado program and how there's fistfights in the locker room. These kids are out of control. Kids are pulling guns on kids for gambling debt
Yep.
because all those things about NIL, these kids get money. They don't know how to manage it. They don't come from money. They're coming to light now.
Well,
And
sure.
before you know it, Dion doesn't want to hear that, and he just wants everything to be hunky dinky
Well,
dory. And I told you
this
so. And
is
coming in last year, it was all sunshine and rainbows, and they win 4 games, and everybody's losing their fucking
and
mind.
then they lose
And
every
now,
fucking game after that. This is what I was saying 2 weeks ago or whatever. It was like Deion Sanders has been praised for 20 years, essentially. Since his retirement until halfway through last year, Deion Sanders could do no wrong. Man's awesome. He's a legend, Hall of Famer, played dual sports, played in championships for both of them, all this shit. Rightfully deserved. All of that is great. Deion Sanders now is catching heat for, having too high expectations and too low of actual output by the team. This is reasonable. You need to have journalism from both sides. He's getting mad and he kicks a guy out. This is soft boy shit. This is the softest thing you can do. And now every time he celebrates something, I'm going to be like, he's fake and he's a bitch. Like, you have to react that way because it's like he gets mad when people tell him what's actually going on. It's like, you can't hide it, bud. This is the fucking NCAA.
well, he keeps saying, "Oh, I'm keeping receipts. I'm keeping receipts." Okay,
Go ahead.
keep
If
them.
if he succeeds, he'll start getting praised again because that's how it works. But your team isn't good right now, and you're acting like you guys are the fucking best team in all of college football. And realistically, if you go 500, that's the best possible scenario.
I just already hate the conversations of like how Shedeur Sanders is a day 1 pick and this and that. And
And
there's
he's
a couple
so
teams
full
on
of
that list.
himself now, too.
There's a couple teams on that list that, if he gets drafted, I'm saying we ain't going.
Right,
like,
fine.
What if hypothetically
He's not
he
first.
doesn't
Yeah.
he doesn't get drafted on day 1? What if hypothetically he's drafted in the 3rd or 4th or 5th round due
Right.
to his lack of ability? Because
And
the best
personal
player,
issues.
the best player in that whole locker room is Travis Hunter. Period.
Easily. Bar none.
He can play both
Always.
ways. Maybe the most talented college football player in the country. Play defense,
Disgusting
play
athlete.
offense. He disgusting athlete overall, and will translate to the next level no matter where you want him to play.
Anywhere.
Now, will he do that? Yeah.
No.
Now, will it translate
No.
to the NFL that he'll play both sides of the football? Absolutely not.
Impossible.
But
yeah.
he's an electric wide receiver in the NFL if he chooses to play that position. Now, Dion will, in fact, I believe, have to pay the piper this year. And if they're not good, he gets 1 more year and then the hot seat is hot.
He's not getting fired next year, but hot seat gets
If
hot.
they don't go 500 this year or above, he's got some big issues ahead of him.
That's
although
he doesn't own Colorado. He's the head coach there. And that's like the whole fucking thing. It's like he gets mad, he does shit, and college football coaches make all these crazy things all the time. It's just he cannot be like devoid of all criticism. You have to be able to criticize the fucking man if you're going to properly report on him. And that's the thing. Instead of him going, you can't come in here anymore, you talked about the shit that was actually happening in the locker room. It needs to be, hey, I heard ya, get it, whatever, we'll take care of it. Didn't love that shit, but it is what it is. That's what it needs to be because they haven't done anything to prove otherwise. He went undefeated in Jackson State. This is now like D1 fucking real-time football, and you have to win. And everybody was just halfway down the throat on the man last year for 4 games in until Colorado State showed him what a team actually was. That was the reality of the situation, man. And it's
It's gonna
Colorado
be
State,
fun to
motherfucker.
watch.
It's not Ohio State. It's Colorado State. What are we doing? Ugh.
It's okay, Vince. It's college football
I
and it's
just
drama
love
fest
I
now. With
love
this is
Deion
what the NIL
Sanders, but it's just
this
pissing
is
me
what
off.
this is what the NIL produces. You get prima donnas before they're even drafted. You get these entitlement issues of these kids who think like there's something and they haven't done a thing on a Sunday, but they want to come out and
Dude,
say like they've arrived, but they haven't arrived.
if the kids
This
do
is
it,
what happens.
if the kids do it, I think it's fine. If the fucking 50-year-old retired cornerback does it, it's a whole different
What I don't
story.
understand is how the media portrayed, and especially ESPN before he came in, like he was like this tough guy, this coach that was going to make you,
He's got style,
clean
but
up
he knows
after yourself,
football. Yeah.
and you say please and thank you, and you open doors for women,
Dadgummit.
and you don't
Yeah.
miss class, and you don't do this, and then you get these reports of these kids bringing firearms into the locker room.
That's
Your
journalism,
reports of
baby.
kids being absolute dickheads to their professors and acting like they just got to be there so they don't get fined.
Yeah.
It's funny.
It
At this
is.
point, you just laugh because you're just like, you don't
You don't
control.
know. You don't know what you don't know. And like the thing is he probably does to a point, and they're probably cleaning it up a little bit too. Like I don't think he's an idiot. I don't like the hey
we
if you
don't
talk.
wish anybody on this podcast not to be successful. We wish everybody to be successful. Just
Yeah.
don't talk as if you are the shit already when you've accomplished very little.
You
I
think you're
digress.
the shit, dude?
Even
You're not even the fart. Shout Ice Spice.
let's talk about some baseball, shall we?
Baseball, Mike. Baseball is here. It's
Baseball?
actually a thing. I don't know if you knew about this, but the baseball season's been going on, and
Hey, man.
it's been okay. It hasn't been great this year. It hasn't been great this year.
Man, I don't know if I've had a time in my life where I've been so uninterested in a sport that I truly love and enjoy, and I try and watch it now, and it moves at a decent pace. I used to be able to watch any baseball game, call it out, know who's who and who's
Front
what.
to back, yeah.
But like anymore, it's just only a handful of teams are truly exciting to watch. The
Doesn't
rest
help
of
that
the
your
league
team
is
sucks. I'll say that.
It doesn't help that my team is the bottom of the barrel, literally the worst team in baseball,
ever.
in the Chicago White
Maybe.
Sox, or
Yeah.
potentially ever,
Yeah.
depending on this run that they're going on. They're already at they've got 30 wins, but they have potential to eclipse 121 losses this year.
Cool.
They have the potential to do
Very
that.
cool. Yeah.
It's horrible. I have a friend the other night, him and his wife went to a ball game. I said, "What the fuck are you doing there?" He's like, "Well, I mean, tickets were cheap and I could sit right behind third base." I said, "Well, who gives a shit? They're horrible." He's like,
You're watching
"They
a
got a
minor league
shot."
team.
I said that he said they got a shot tonight. I said they'll fuck it up, and sure as shit, grand
They did.
slam the next inning, and they lost to the Tigers. So
Yeah.
it's okay, but let's talk about Shohei Ohtani.
Yeah,
'cause he's
we're
the
not
most
talking
exciting
baseball.
thing in
Talking about the
sport.
White Sox. We're talking about baseball because we're talking about records possibly being broken this year.
Okay.
Shohei Ohtani, esteemed home run hitter pitcher, goes 40-40, officially 40-40. 29 games to go. Shohei Ohtani has the opportunity to do something that no one's ever done.
What's
get
that?
50 home runs and 50 steals in a season. I think he's going to do it. I don't see a
Are you
reason why
sure
he
no
wouldn't
one's
do it.
done that? Because 40-40 is actually, as far as Barry Bonds seasons go, his 11th best season.
I don't think anybody's gone 50-50. Has anybody ever gone 50-50 in a season? Nope. Ohtani would be the first to accomplish the feat in 2024. Ronald Acuna Jr. came closest with 41 home runs and 73 stolen bases. No one's touched it. It would be crazy from a guy that no one even talked about being a stolen base merchant. No one's ever talked about that.
He's an impeccable athlete.
And he threw from the mound yesterday.
He pitched yesterday?
No, but he's rehabbing from the mound right now. He's ready to go. He might pitch in the playoffs.
That's impressive.
I
After
know.
having Tommy John, and dude, that's truly impressive.
Yeah. So like you're looking at and that's the thing. You're looking at a guy that here, Mike, you're looking at a guy here. I went full fucking What's his fuck? Oh, Collinsworth, Chris Collinsworth. Jesus, need to get
You're
my
looking
brain
at
back
a
on it.
guy here.
You're
That's
looking at a
just
guy here.
saying.
Yeah, he's gonna do something that's never been seen, and we have seen Otani do things that haven't been seen so many times, where it's almost getting disincentivized because we're so used to it. But this is just a thing where it's like Otani hits 50, gets 50 stolen bases, possibly pitches in the playoffs. He's the best player in the MLB. No one can argue it outside of that. Now, there is an area in the Northeast that would argue, hey, maybe he isn't the best player in baseball. To that I say no, but Aaron Judge, one time he was called Arson Judge by a baseball player, a baseball writer that thought he went to the fucking Giants. Do you remember that story? I think it was John Heyman, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh yeah, I do
Arson
remember that where
Judge
they like
signs with the San
announced it.
Francisco Giants. Like, no, you got the name wrong and the team wrong. Aaron Judge with 51 home runs, possibly on pace to, again, 29 games left, to beat his American League record, which I feel like is a fallacy. But regardless, it is what it is.
Total fallacy.
He
It's
might
bullshit.
break that record again because it's not really a record. It's a record for 50% of the team. Excuse me. Regardless, though, 51 home runs in 2024 with 29 games to go, fucking insane. And he was slow out of the gates this year. This has all been in the last 2-3 months where he started really raking.
He's made up for lost time. Him and Shohei right now are the two most exciting people to watch in the sport. The Yankees have kind of gotten to a point now where they need to really get going. The Orioles are still right
They're
there.
good, man.
They're very good. And now Jackson Holliday's up and he's starting to get his vibe going.
Actually good, yeah.
And yeah, I don't think he really is moving the needle for them, but it's definitely depth for them from a power hitting perspective.
Yeah.
And a guy who can't run to second base if he hits a double in the gap. It's always a liability to have on your roster. But
let's just say
Yankees
that short
right
porch,
now,
that short porch in Yankee
that
Stadium
short porch
helping
helps,
him
man.
out a lot.
He turns so well on the inside pitch. It's pretty. He can really barrel it up, man. There's not many guys in the MLB quite like him. And like
I would
said,
argue there isn't a guy like him.
Well, size-wise, no.
There's two guys, and like Shohei's probably the closest comparison side-wise, but there's two guys in
No,
the MLB
Giancarlo
that are different
Stanton,
than
as far as physical stature
true.
goes, that they're both on the same team is impressive.
Yeah, I mean him, Soto, and Stanton 3 in a row the other day. I don't know if you saw that. That was pretty cool too.
Yeah, especially when they get in Yankee Stadium, but everybody has that advantage. So.
Also, well, short fence. There's an argument. I've seen this. All the haters are like, "Hey, Aaron Judge only hits 40 home runs if he's not in New York," all that shit. Regardless, though, it's like, do it in the playoffs and we'll end up talking about that.
What if you play in the AL East, right?
Yeah, well, it depends on where you go. Fenway, it's a whole different ball game for that man over there. So
it's true.
Now
it's very true. No, baseball at this stage of the game, we got a month left, and the standings they've kind of been right there this whole month of August.
Mm-hmm.
It really hasn't changed, especially if you look at the AL East. I mean, the Yankees and the Orioles just duking it out. The Red Sox
1-2. Yeah.
Right. And then now the Royals have gained some steam on the Guardians. That's a one-game division of the Central. So I would love to see the Royals really make something of it, or the Twins could wake up. That'd be great.
Fuck the Astros. God damn it.
The Astros just always find it's impressive. Man, the Mariners have been so close for like the past 5 years, and they haven't been able to do it. They have amazing pitching. I saw a meme the other day. It was like for Moneyball. It's like, Billy, this is the Seattle Mariners. They have 5 almost Cy Young pitchers, a wonderful bullpen. Their only problem, they can't hit the baseball.
Yeah. And they have offense all over the team. I don't know. You hope they can go to the playoffs and actually make something happen. Sorry, go ahead.
What we can talk about, though, is the fall from grace in the NL of the Cardinals. They seemingly were like right there in the division. And then I don't know if like they traded for a guy on the White Sox and it just didn't work. But now they're 8.5 games. They're 10.5 games back in the division. The Brewers are just spacing themselves out.
There's also a team that's about 4 blocks away from me that's hotter than fucking hell right now. The Cubs have scored.
Sox?
No. The Cubs have scored more runs in the last 3 games than any team in the last 40 years, supposedly. That's what I saw on a stat. Don't quote me on that. I don't know. Now they're
still
68 and
not going to make the
66.
playoffs.
7. Hey, but goddamn it, they're close. I mean, there's a lot of wild card in there that they can fuck with.
8.5 games back right now.
Possible. It's always
The
possible.
NL wild card settings right now is, I mean, the D-backs are going to be right there. The Padres are going to be right
Dylan
there.
Cease is so good. I'm so mad.
Dylan Cease is so good. The Braves are even going to be right there. So
Yeah, man.
I don't think
New York's other team that everybody thought was going to suck, 69-63, they have a chance to get up there as well.
Yeah, but truly, it's going to be in between. The D-backs are fun to watch right now.
Mike, there's 30 games left, dude. A lot of things can happen in 30 games.
This is going to be like last year when everybody's like, the Cubs are going to win the division. The Cubs are going to make it to the playoffs.
Yeah. It's just possible. That's all.
Delusional Cub fans. This is always what happens to delusional
Hater
Cub
Mike
fans.
is back.
I'm realistic. I talked about it last year too. Delusional fucking Cub fans. At the end of every season, they go on a heater and then they're like, "We're back," and it's like, "No, you're not."
100%.
Amen. Just start paying attention to the Bears, as we are all going to shortly.
Yeah,
and shut the fuck up.
We don't have a lot of room to talk. God damn it, is it fun to talk about that?
We have no room to talk, no doubt about it. But boy, oh boy, do I hate hearing it, because it's the same story every year, and then they'll always tell you we were close. Okay.
Yeah, okay, good. Close only counts in horseshoes and hand grenades, my friend.
Toss it. Pull the pin in that.
We'll talk a little more about baseball in the next coming weeks as well as it starts getting hot.
Oh, yeah, we got playoffs. We have, to your point, Vince, we got 30 days. Playoffs.
Yeah, playoffs. We're talking playoffs. The NFL, Mike, shall we?
Vince, let's talk about one of our favorite sports. We got a couple weeks here before the kickoff begins. And
you watched that episode of Flaccid Knox last night? It was boring, so you can't call it Hard Knocks.
Oh my God, gents, what are we doing, man?
Yeah, I'm out on Tyson Bagent's dad, dude. I'm out on him.
I love Tyson Bagent's dad.
After that, I was laying down. I was very comfortable in my bed, just watching it. He just yells too much. I'm like, you gotta calm down.
That's his dad, man.
I know. I'm being a hater. I'm pulling a page out of your book here.
I'm not. Hey, at least I'm a hater about real topics in sports.
Fair. I just hate some guy's dad unprovoked.
He's a typical guy who you'd find at a McHenry County bar, riding a bagger, trying to fight other grown men because he didn't get that validation as a child.
Yeah.
And, that's what it is. That's who that guy is. Not saying necessarily that he's a bad person, because he may not be a bad person.
There's no reason to believe he is. Yeah, 100%.
He's just a loud talker.
Bombastic. Yeah.
Or, as what other people would call, a jagoff.
Yeah.
But seems like a nice enough guy. You gotta remember,
he's nice. It's just,
here's the difference between that guy in McHenry County riding a bagger, squawking at the bar, ordering shots and beers. This guy was actually in a real Stallone movie. Okay?
Yep.
Real Stallone movie. Not a fake one, a real one. Over the top. Google it. And he competes on a national scale in arm wrestling.
He's the best left-handed arm wrestler of all time. So
he literally is the best left-handed arm wrestler of all time.
Yeah.
And an individual that he helped create in the world plays professional football.
And he's a goddamn great backup. And at some point, someone's going to give him money to be a starter. I guarantee
he may be the best backup right now.
Yeah.
The young backups.
We're also getting fed this shit like a baby. So we'll see what ends up happening as we go. But hey, he was good last year. We're
getting spoon-fed like a baby bird.
Yeah, they're giving us sugar, and then this season's gonna start, and they're gonna be like, "All right, we're going on a no sugar diet." And you're like, "Fuck me, my diabetes is going crazy."
Last night was just out of all the storylines, what I did like, they actually showed like the defense and the offense getting in pretty chippy. They really highlighted the running back room, which I'm just like.
But no DeAndre Swift and barely any Khalil Herbert. It's only Velus Jones and Wheeler.
Okay, can I say this? I am tired of having Valus Jones stuffed down my
Dude,
football
I'm
throat.
so sick of it. No one
I'm sick of it.
the US doesn't know it. But as Bears fans,
We
we've
know
been
it.
we've been getting this shit for years now. And
4 years.
we're like, "Hey, can he hold on to the ball? Is he capable of holding on to
Has
the
he
fucking ball?"
cost us literal football games because
Straight up.
his lack of holding on to the football?
Straight up. And now they want to put him in a position where you have to grab the ball and hold on to it more. Because they're like, we don't trust you to catch it. We just want to give it to you. And then all you got to do is hold on to it. And then that whole like episode 3 was him dropping the ball. Like, what are we doing? And the worst part about that is Ian Wheeler from Howard. He's the med school kid that ends up wanting to go play football in the NFL. He fucking tears his ACL in the last preseason game. So now we kind of have to have Valus Jones, right? Are
You
we
got
keeping 4 halfbacks though?
We are.
So you're
We
talking.
are, Vince. We're holding DeAndre Swift,
Mm-hmm.
Roshan Johnson, Khalil Herbert,
Yeah.
and Travis Homer.
Right. So are we keeping 5 then? Is Valus Jones going in as
Yeah,
a
no,
halfback?
Valus Jones. It was announced today.
Yeah.
If you're listening this to Thursday, go look at Wednesday. The final rosters were announced today across
Yep.
the entire NFL. Valus Jones was on that list of making the 53-man
Oh,
roster.
they fucking love him because he's fast, but god damn it.
No,
God damn it.
they keep keeping him around. That's a
'Cause-
word. They keep him around because they drafted him in the 3rd fucking round.
And he's fast and he has talent, but he also drops the ball, which is the most important thing.
He doesn't have that much talent. Tyler Scott's a far better talent than he is.
I agree, but Tyler
I'm a
Scott's
big
receiver,
Ty Scott fan.
and we got a
Ty
lot of
Scott-
receivers.
Ty Scott is the 4th best wide receiver in that receiver.
On the Bears,
4th best, Vince. 4th
Dante Pettis
best.
is pretty fucking good.
Dante Pettis, I don't think made the team, cuz.
But still, Dante Pettis is pretty fucking good. He had a
Yeah.
couple catches there. Tyler Scott was a sneaky weapon for us last year, though. So I'm cool.
Well,
with it.
another guy who couldn't hold on to the football when it mattered most.
Mhm. Yeah, just hold on to the football. Maybe we can bring in a different. We are having quarterback issues on the Bears, but maybe we can bring in a different backup. He's got a lot of playing experience now. Didn't when he came out of college. His name is Trey Lance.
What about Trey? Did
you
he get
see Trey-
released?
No. Did you see Trey Lance's performance for the Dallas Cowboys last week?
Man, it's like a freshman QB in NCAA 25 that can only
And
run.
granted, he gets drafted out of college. He barely has any experience playing quarterback at all. Goes to the 49ers. Brock Purdy takes that job. We know the story. Goes to Dallas. He's a backup now. Dallas gave him 49 attempts in a preseason game. 323 yards, 5 interceptions, Mike. Trey Lance was launching the ball the other day. And it was like, I feel bad for him.
It was like old school Jameis Winston, just throwing it up there somewhere. Saying, fuck it, Mike Evans is down there somewhere.
I feel bad for him a little bit because I'm like, what? What are you supposed to? He was drafted too high for his ability. Everybody knew it when it happened. And now he's in Dallas. Well, Dak is like, hey, my fucking job is solid now because they're not going to throw this guy out there. It is just like, is it the quickest fall from grace we've ever seen? Or is that Jamarcus Russell still?
That probably is still Jamarcus Russell. One could even discuss potentially Cade McNown because he was supposed to be something. Matt
True.
Leinart was supposed
What
to be
was he-
something.
where
There's
was-
always guys.
Where was McDowell drafted though?
The Bears.
I know, but like 10?
UCLA.
I know, but
He was
what
the-
number? Like 10
He was a
around?
top 3 pick.
Was he top 3? Okay, then that's
Oh,
'cause
yeah,
that's the whole
the
thing.
Bears
Trey
were
Lance was second
horrible.
overall, right?
Yeah. No, Cade McNown was top 3 pick.
Yeah, I was a young man then.
Yeah, no, that was horrible. I digress. I will say this, there's always this story, but if you look back at that draft class, there was really nothing
They
there
all
that-
fucked up. They all didn't end up working out too well.
No. I mean, that draft class now, 4 years ago? What was Justin Fields' draft class? Google that. That'll tell you the whole
2021, so
story.
3 years ago, technically.
That was Danny Jones. That was a couple different things, right?
I think so. I'm opening it up right now.
Trevor Lawrence, Zach Wilson, Trey
you go.
Lance. The only person to work out of that whole draft group was Trevor Lawrence. That's
And
it.
verdict's still kind of out on that.
Well, he's going to get paid. He's
Yeah.
going to get a max contract.
But he's going to get paid because he hasn't been horrible. But they want more out of him if, all things are considered.
That's Mac Jones' draft. That's Justin Fields' draft. That's the draft that you could look back and say, you can overdraft the fuck out of quarterbacks.
Well, you can get a fucking Pro Bowler anywhere else on this entire fucking draft. You have Trevor Lawrence, Zach Wilson, Trey Lance, and you have Justin Fields, like you said. That's Mac Jones.
Imagine if the Bears go back, Bears go back in time and you drafted like Rashawn Slater to shore up the offensive line.
No, because it all worked to do what we have now. And if it works out, then I will take everything that happened.
The universe speaks. We'll see.
But for the people that are listening here, if you decide all of the players that weren't quarterbacks that didn't work out in this draft, you can get Kyle Pitts, Jamar Chase, Jalen Waddle, Penei Sewell, J.C. Horn, Patrick Surtain, Devontae Smith, Rashawn Slater, Elijah Vera Tucker. Like the first 15 picks, all of those guys are potential or already Pro Bowlers. All you had to do was not
except Kyle Pitts. Kyle Pitts has yet to do shit.
Kyle Pitts had fucking who throwing him the ball. Like you can't really blame him for that.
This is the Pitts prove it season.
100%.
This is the year everybody's not going to think. By the way, fantasy football talk. This is going to be the year everybody's going to sleep on Kyle Pitts, and I have a sneaky suspicion that this is the year Kyle Pitts fucking pops off.
Lil Kirk is going to get it to him a lot.
Yeah,
I'm ready for that.
Nothing is better though. As the GM for the Atlanta Falcons explaining to Arthur Blank why he drafted Michael Penix Jr. and not Rome Odunze.
Yeah, man.
He's like sitting there. He's like, the risk. You could tell, like, whatever. Arthur Blank's like, why did we do this?
Yeah.
We just paid a quarterback. He's like, well, you got to understand the risk and reward. And he's like holding the pen. He's like, so you got to understand the risk and reward and why we did it. And you're like, dude, you're just telling him a story.
I'm still astounded by that draft, but God damn it. Hey,
we'll take it.
I'm happy that DJ Moore signed because CeeDee Lamb signed, and holy fuck is all I have to say to that.
Second largest contract in NFL history. That's not a quarterback.
Oh my God.
You know who the first is?
The largest
Justin Jefferson. His name is Justin Jefferson.
Oh, I thought it was left tackle. I was ready for left tackle.
No, his name is Justin Jefferson.
I mean, yeah, this contract's insane. But
133 million, right? 133 million?
Yes. Yeah, I think so. CeeDee Lamb is, top 3 receiver in the league. You get paid to do that. Now, Dak Prescott, his contract isn't anywhere to be seen right now, and I don't know if it's gonna. But, they're going to run out of money at some point.
Here's the topic of discussion in the NFL right now. Ready? And more so, and I hate that we're talking about the Cowboys this episode, but let's talk about the Cowboys this episode.
You talk about the news, Mike. It's in the news.
So, you just gave CeeDee $133 million. You have to pay Dak next year.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have Micah Parsons up for contract.
Yeah, they can't keep all 3.
If I'm Ryan Poles right now, I'm on the fucking phone. I am like, what do you want?
For Micah Parsons, obviously.
How do we do it? I'll give you need a running back. I'll give you Khalil Herbert. I'll give you a first-round draft pick. And I'll give you a second-round draft pick. There you go. Get that motherfucker over here. Put him in alongside Montez Sweat. We are back to being the monsters of the Midway, baby.
I love
nobody
that.
fucking with us. But
hey, man, if they prove it year, that is tough because they're gonna have to give them a lot of money, and they got some money tied up already. Where you're like, 2-3 years from now,
okay,
but you win a Super Bowl and you have a good guy, then
I'll go broke on that.
100%. I don't think he's gonna do that. I hope he does, but I don't think he's gonna do that. But they, they signed CeeDee. They signed CeeDee They signed Dak Prescott. I don't think they can sign Micah Parsons. That's going to be a fucking
Well,
hard
okay,
sell for them.
hypothetically, you keep Keenan Allen just for 1 year. You already locked up DJ. You have the rookie QB on contract for the next 4 years,
Jalen
5
signed
years
already.
of total control. Jalen signed already. Sweat signed already. Go get that motherfucker. If
Yeah.
Keenan Allen plays 1 year, healthy 1 year, hypothetically he plays 12 games because he always gets injured at some point.
Right.
You got Rome waiting. You got Rome ready to go.
You're right.
I mean, are you upset halfway through the year if Rome's plugged in at the X and you got DJ at the Y and you're good?
Yeah. I mean, I think Keenan's coming in as wide receiver 1 this year, though. So we'll see.
DJ, in my opinion, DJ's 1, Keenan.
I'm saying depth chart wise, I think they're swapping them back and forth a couple times.
That's fine.
Final thing for tonight. Russell Wilson officially gets the nod over Justin Fields.
Man,
Obviously,
it's gonna be a drama fest in the Steel City this year to watch those two battle for playing time.
That's obvious, though, right? Like, you can put Russell Wilson until he's bad and then put Fields in. But if you bench Russell Wilson for Fields and then put him in later, that's a harder sell. That's a harder
You
sell.
got to go with the veteran presence first. They've accumulated a total of this entire preseason of their snaps, 4 first downs between the two of them. Boy, oh boy.
God, dude.
The decision-making you saw in Chicago still there with Justin. He's a great practice quarterback, but boy, he can't put it together on the field. Hell of an athlete. It's going to be fun to watch. College football is truly back this week, people. Buckle up. Saturday is going to be a beautiful
And good luck
day.
in your fantasy drafts, guys. Good luck.
Yeah, fantasy drafts coming up. We'll talk about it a little bit more next week because it's kind of the lead up. So we'll discuss a little.
And hopefully you'll already be done with yours by that point because we're
I hope for all
of
you. We're going to be a couple days away, so I hope your fantasy draft is blessed. Thank you for joining us once again. As you know, the Taxi Squad podcast has now been around for a grand total of 4 years, 3 years of us working together. So if you want to go back in the archives, we have many episodes to listen to. Bad takes, great takes. Amon-Ra St. Brown. This guy knew he was going to be a stud. No big deal. Sure. I will also say that we will see you next Thursday. And as always, share with a brother, share it with his sister, and we'll see you next week. Peace.
Talking Tales with Mike and Vince. Oh, you know. Jazzy beats while we dispense. Yeah, you know.